Anytime you're ready.
All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Say hello to
Let me
everybody.
adjust that camera over. Jeez. No, that's okay. I don't want to mess with the camera. This is a build process, darn it. And it's not pretty.
Well,
So.
you've spent quite a bit of time on it.
I did. I did spend some time on this, and that's why I kind of want to. I'll take this off right now. I like to use this when I'm building, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look so sexy on camera with the green. So, are you able to put the chat back up on the screen like we did before?
Yes.
So I can wait. We can wait. We can banter back and forth.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So
Uh,
you're getting that look again. Like,
I'm,
I'm struggling.
nope, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
So,
Camera with the. Oh,
all right.
so you remember how to pop it out? At the top in the chat, there's a pop out.
Yes.
Yeah, you
pop-out
take that, you
sheet.
pop it out, and then you put it over on the screen where we can see it over here.
There we go.
Okay, now you hold the Windows key and the arrow key to the right or the left, and it'll pop to the left. Okay, and then do this. Now click on the video. There you go. There you got it.
Check it out.
Look at that. It's pretty cool how people can snap it. So
Perfect.
when and if we ever get anybody in here.
Hey, that's no
I
problem.
think we shot our wad. You know, we reached for the stars. We got
Well.
a few people, and they're like, eh. But you know, if anything, if I just record this for myself, just to remember the steps that I went through,
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, did you make it? Remember, we had that set on private before. Are you sure that it posted publicly?
It should be public. It should be
probably
public.
want to check that.
All right. Let me gander at.
It would be such a noob move of us.
Yeah, we don't want to. We don't want to do that.
I'll put timestamps in the video so everybody knows where to start with this. You know, in
Yeah.
the video. So if you
Okay.
go down to the descriptions, there'll be the timestamps in there. You can just click on them and jump right to any point in the video. Makes it a lot nice because I've watched podcasts before, and it's just without those, it becomes, you know, I just want to get right through to the point I want to see.
Sure. Okay.
Do we have confirmation?
That's what I am working on right now. Determining. It should be set to public.
You just all you gotta do is just go in the studio and look at the video, and it'll say it's public or private.
Moving over.
It should. It's real simple.
Yep. Okay.
You gotta do the lives.
Our content. There it is. Live. Public.
Okay, good deal. Okay. Well, let's get this show on the road here.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. So, well, we unboxed that plane last week.
remember, you can flip to your camera too.
That's true.
Flip the camera so they can see your bright and shiny face. They don't have to keep it on me all the time. You're producing a show here. You can't just sit back and talk into the mic and look cool with headphones on.
I like how you critique me live. It's awesome.
Yes.
Hey, everybody. So anyway, like we were saying, so this plane we unboxed last week, and you've been working on it
I have.
throughout the week.
Yeah, it took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to with this motor. And I didn't really get any other content to be able to work on because this thing took up the lion's share of my time figuring out. One of the very first steps that you have to do, is the pork chop cam working?
Yes,
Let's
it
try
is
the
working.
Let's switch to the pork chop cam so we can just go right into it with what's going on over here, and everybody can kind of see that's watching the video. Why don't
Okay.
you grab that and bring it
Sure.
on over
All right.
if it's ready.
All right, here we go.
Working?
It's
cool.
working. All right, so what do we have?
Are you able to like bend down and get it that way? There you go. I'm wondering if the light, maybe from the other side would table be better because the light is kind of dark there when I'm looking at it.
All right, I'll just do a nice good 360 pan here.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, now if you look behind you at the TV, you can see that the screen is just so much brighter now. That's way better.
Awesome.
I can see my wrinkly shirt.
No, no. Well, we don't want to see that. We want to see the plane.
Okay, so the very first step in this putting this plane together is to figure out how to mount your electricals.
Oh, yeah.
And as I've put, if you go over our Facebook group, RC Safari, I've posted pictures in there and a lot of content that you won't see in these videos. I try to put them into the RC Safari group on Facebook, so there's a community of people in there and that's talking and discussing and liking stuff over there. And this will be pictures and other things like the update to these throughout the week that you don't get to see in the video here. So this video is really just kind of an update.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is what I had to work with. Basically, you have to drill everything out. Now normally on planes they put a crosshair on here for the core of the plane to where you mount the centering of your motor.
Ah.
When I started putting this one together, the directions show that that should be there. And when I went there, just for the gas setup, I'll bring it around to you.
Sure.
So they show right here this line, and that line was buried under black paint from the factory.
Oh.
So I had to take some thinner and clean that all off. Plus there's a notch right here, or a piece of the wood spar that comes out right here.
Okay.
If you look at this, it's got a notch right here in all the pictures. When I got my mounting plate for the motor, it didn't have that notch. I had to file it in there.
Ah.
Because without filing that in there, you can't match up the cross marks that are on this plate. So there's a target on these as well, and then you center them on the bulkhead,
Okay.
and then that gets you in the center.
Nice.
And then the distance between this board and this board has to be equal, bottom and top, and it's off. The whole bulkhead is offset just a little bit, so it looks like your motor's actually crooked, but it's supposed to be that way to counter motor torque.
I seem to recall you telling me about that.
Yeah, so you want to make sure it's even, bottom and top of that, otherwise the motor will point up on you too.
Okay.
So what I found was, with this setup anyway, the perfect distance to get this outside the cowl and everything was from the bulkhead to the back of this plate was 40 millimeters. At least with this motor. You'll have to play around with whatever motor you have to figure it out. But this motor here is for a .46 size plane. The motor that they recommend when you go on Motion's RC's site is a different motor that says it's recommended for a .32. That's their recommended motor. And I'm wondering, maybe these ratings aren't all, hard and fast of what they need to be. So I just went with what I had, and I had a .46 electrical motor here, so that's what I put on. And it is big, and it is weighty. I got the tail on there now too, but anyway, I also built a custom, let's say, mounting plate for the ESC. This plate right here is all made by me, and I made it so you could zip tie with little notches on both sides, that you could zip tie it on there and it would hold it really well. And this is just epoxied on there, and so you can see a little piece of spar there and it keeps the air coming in and everything, and works really well. Now this ESC is an 80 amp Spectrum Avian 80 amp, and there was a fan on there. It's totally unnecessary for this because this is set up for 6S, even 8S, but I'm going to run it at 4S. And this motor is a 6S motor. I'm going to run it at 4S. I've already tested it out with a prop on there and everything, and it has ridiculous power on 4S already. So 6S would probably exceed the airframe's, abilities and probably snap some wings or something. I don't know, but 4S will be more than enough to get it off the ground.
Fantastic.
I also had some struggles with it, technological wise. I made sure that I updated the ESC with the latest updates. This ESC is also set up to where, again, it can be an 8S, so you can put two 4S batteries on this thing and have 8S. So when they come from the factory, it's wired with two IC5 battery plugs on there. If you're not going to run two batteries, then there's a plug that goes in one of them and it closes the loop, so just one battery will work.
Okay.
So I took that all off and soldered new ends on everything, and I made extensions, and you can see I just have one nice little
Oh yeah.
cord here, and I made this, I have my own wire that I bought off Amazon to do all that. And then the extension is shrink wrapped here, so it ain't going nowhere, and then I zip tied everything down because the back of this motor has a shaft on the back here as well, and I didn't want any chance that the wires would rub up against there.
Okay.
So you can see I braided it all nicely and
Yeah, it looks nice.
put it in there, and there's going to be no flopping around. The last thing is this little guy here. This is plugged into where the fan port was, which also serves as a programming port.
Okay.
And I did get on there with my little Spectrum programmer, and I updated the ESC through the programmer, and then I set all the settings that I want on for the ESC for the motor.
Okay.
So we're outputting, instead of 6 volts, we're outputting 7.4 volts instead. But it will go up to 8.4. My servos will handle 8.4, but I like to run them mid-range. I don't want them to be all the way out on the end like
Okay.
that. But I definitely like 6 or 7.4. 7.4 is my ideal range. I like to run servos at all the time in anything. It's just, I don't like the Spectrum receiver being supplied with the 6 or 4.8 volt or whatever. I think that's, when you run into problems, at least my experience has been, where you can get where the receiver, if a servo binds or something, all of a sudden there's a high amperage draw on something, and then that can cause the receiver to reset itself if it goes below, I think, 3 volts or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll reset itself.
Oh.
So to avoid that, I always run things higher. And I've still had that problem, but it was because I had a bad servo that bound and went into high amperage draw and was stuck, and it reset my receiver. But luckily, it recovered. I was high enough up and recovered.
Okay.
So
Nice.
a lot of work figuring this all out, and then I repainted everything with gray paint.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Looks sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really.
Nice.
I think that really is good. So then the cowl, I'll put that on after I maiden the video, or maiden it.
Okay.
Maiden video. Maiden the plane.
Okay.
There we go. There's a couple people in there. It says, Reborn says, you take one of the O's out of good, it's God. You add D to evil, it's devil. Someone said a long time ago, let's figure out a way to control people, and that's what they came up with, the Bible. Oh, we had somebody like that in our live video last time that kind of posts these little things. I'm interested in, what's their game to do that? I don't understand. Is it like a bot or something that seeks out lies?
Probably spam and chat.
Just be, I need somebody to listen to me. I don't know. I don't get it. Good morning, EQRC. Good morning. Good morning, Caroline. Thanks for tuning in. We're just kind of reviewing here what I've done so far this week on this model. So I ran into some other problems, and I'm still trying to figure out resolve for it. One of the things, I know what I'm going to have to do to fix this. So yeah, last week when we were filming, right as we ended the film, I went to go open the hatch door with the door on here, and it just broke right off. I mean, I literally was being very delicate and everything, but you can see it just broke right off.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to have to glue all that back up again. That's all the meat that's holding that on. That's it.
Jeez.
Very, very little. That's the
That's what's left of it?
that's what's left of it.
Oh my goodness.
So it's no big deal to epoxy it again, but again, the design of that is a little weak.
Yeah.
They need to, instead using balsa there, it should have been hardwood. Right here you can see in here, this is very thin strip of balsa,
Yeah.
and that should have been hardwood. So I'm kind of a little bit worried as well about how strong these magnets are going to be. On my carbon cub, these are the first things to snap off, these little magnets. I've had to glue these back on a couple times. So I don't like that when things like this that are so prominent and make the model cool are kind of designed as an afterthought with this being so thin. They really need to put some hardwood there. And of course you have to cut out the covering. This is all this covering. This is the other challenge on this model is this model is not covered in your typical monocoat. All right, it is using some kind of vinyl that is painted.
Yep.
So the huge challenge here is that you cannot get any glue on this. You cannot get any thinner or paint cleaner, mineral spirits, nothing, or it will strip it. And the vinyl is actually painted white. This is the natural color of the vinyl right here.
Okay.
And this has been painted. All this is paint.
Wow.
They painted this covering to this. So, for example, I got a little bit of glue right here. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but oh yeah, you can right there. Stop right there.
Oh yeah.
See the shininess?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I had to just try to clean that off, and now it's shiny. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of touch-up spray paint and try the best I can to match it, and just spray paint that.
Okay.
They do give you some patches. They give you some patches. You can stay still. I'll bring it to you. There you go. They give you these patches to fix that. And I'm already thinking I'm going to have to fix the wing, because on one of the wings, whoever did this one, this is human hair in there. It's on the paint. So I'm not sure how to resolve that. Do I live with that just being stuck in there like that? Do I do I try to scratch it, get the hair out? Or do I put a patch over it and just live with a patch on it? This was like this on the back of the body too. So I know this is an airplane for the Army, and one thing about it is that these planes had patches on them all the time.
Yeah.
So putting a patch on there wouldn't be something that looked out of scale or something. Mm-hmm. It's just more of I don't know, you get something new and you expect a certain level of quality control, and that to me is like something that got past the factory, and whoever inspects these, they should have cut something like that. And if this is something that didn't get rejected and they looked at it and said, that's fine, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be like that. But it's not that I would send it back or even bother asking for another one. It is something that I guess my point is that when you put something like this together, you got to go in knowing that you're going to deal with these kind of things. This is part of the hobby. Nothing is perfect with these. You get really spoiled if you're in the foam world. A lot of times those foam models have been refined and they're so well packed and everything. They sell a lot of them, so they make a lot of them and have a lot of revisions to work out kinks. Whereas these, they probably order 25 of these and then hope that they sell them in 2 years.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. That could be totally wrong. They could order 1,000 of them and hope to sell them in a year. So yeah. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna remove that guy. Hold on. I think I could do that. 1 second, guys. What you filming now?
I'm just looking at the engine and the work that you've done. Because you've done a lot of work up here on the front end. Trying to get the motor on there, all the rewire. Yeah, I think you did a great job with it. To be perfectly honest. putting the leads on there. It's unfortunate about the hatch, but something they can do in the future. Maybe try to make that a little bit more reinforced. But I like the model. I think it's pretty nice. Definitely be a really exciting one to see how it flies when we get to that point. You've done a lot of balsa builds, and each one you get a little bit better as time progresses. So and this one being electric.
There we go. I got rid of that
Very,
troll.
very nice.
There we go.
Chloe laying down the law.
Ah, that's just annoying. People are there just to troll. There's a couple, I get, to be honest with you, I get a lot of nasty messages.
Yeah.
It's almost like to the point where I don't want to do this anymore. I don't hide who I am. It's out there for anybody that wants to know. And some people can't deal with it. So I get a lot of trolls that, send me nasty Facebook messages, even famous YouTubers. There's a couple of them that don't like that I do my channel or whatever. And they go around talking crap about me to other people behind my back. There's one particular that makes up a ton of fake accounts and actually likes his own videos, and then he goes into like Motion RC's chat room and so forth as these different people. But I can always tell that it's the same person because he always says the same thing to me every time I get on that chat.
Gotcha.
It's the exact same person.
Gotcha.
So they're a hater, and I'm just gonna press forward and move on.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Oh, well, we talked a little bit about some quality concerns of the plane. I
definitely don't want to be negative on it. This is,
Yeah.
as far as like, let's just say a scale of 1 to 10 on Chloe's list of, of who gives a crap. I would put, and let me first say before I give this a number,
Sure.
I have quite a few of these models. I mean, made by various companies that I've put together. I've probably put together about a dozen balsa ARFs.
Yeah.
And I've worked on several that were already built, kind of like this one here. I haven't worked on that one yet, but I will. And I've worked on several of them that needed updating, or I wanted to update it. So when I say I'm going to give it a number, I would say the best I've ever seen so far, I would put on a scale from 1 to 10, I would say the best one I've ever saw so far was an 8.
Oh,
And that would be my Tiger 30cc.
okay.
And the reason that one was so good, because everything about it was just great.
Just great.
Putting it together was easy. The directions were great. The hardware that they included was amazing. Wasn't, cheap crap, that junk. The quality of they actually used monocoat on it. They didn't use anything else. They used monocoat on it. And it was excellently applied.
Awesome.
That kit was amazing. Now, let me just, before you go run out and buy a Tiger 30cc, the new Tiger 30cc that's coming out is being built in a different factory. So my praises for this plane comes from it being done by the original one. I can't say what the new one's going to look like or the quality of everything because the new factory is putting it together.
I smell a comparison coming on.
Yeah. So we haven't even got the video out that. I mean, we filmed the video, but we never rolled it out. So we will eventually.
We'll have to roll it out on the show and show everybody what it's like,
EQRC says you can take a piece of painted piece to Lowe's and they'll match it. It's water based.
Perfect.
So I think we've done a little bit of that at Home Depot, and we've got some in there. But I think there's a place online where you can buy actually an aerosol or a paint that can go in my. I have an airbrush, and I might use my little airbrush.
Oh, yeah.
I got a hobbyist's airbrush, and it uses a CO2 cartridge.
Okay.
So I kind of want to try that a little bit.
Sure.
And I might put a little bit of distressing in there, with this thing.
Oh, give it some style.
But So let's get back to the number. Now,
Okay,
if
yeah.
my best one is an 8 so far, and that's because I've never seen a 9 or even I'll reserve a 10 for like, this thing was minted by, the RC gods, forged out of Thor's hammer, everything else.
Gold-plated.
Everything. That's number 10.
Okay.
That's going to take a lot to get to that number. I would put this one probably at a 5.5 to 6.
5.5. Okay.
And the reason that it gets that score is, the directions, there's some things that are wrong in the directions, just little things. As I'm moving forward, I'm finding spelling errors, things that are not being told to you to do,
Oh,
things that need to be updated, like these steps here where it shows this with a notch in it.
yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore. Little things like that. Okay, so let me say, that shouldn't bother you, though, if you're putting these together. It really shouldn't bother you, because anybody that's putting something together like this has half a brain and knows to interpret certain things. This would not be something I recommend for somebody to put together for the very first time that's doing an ARF build. This is not this plane.
Gotcha.
It could be somebody that flies it for the first time once it's together, but
Yeah.
not when you're assembling it. You want to put something together just a little bit smaller and a little less steps, because there are some things you got to cut out and know to do with this and have some experience putting it together.
Nice. Okay.
Good morning, Guy. We have good morning and happy Sunday to all of you.
Yes. Happy Sunday.
EQ RC says, "Don't let it bother you, Chloe. A lot more love, you girls." Oh,
Well, thank you.
that feels nice. Thank you. We did move our clocks ahead.
Yes.
By 1 hour. Yeah.
Yep.
Did we move it? I hope so. I did our kitchen thing this morning, but
Okay.
I woke up on time. I think we started on time.
Yeah. Well, all your computers and everything will do it automatically. So.
Yeah. All right. So once I got this all wired together and running, I ran into a couple other things when I was programming the transmitters. I used 3 different ones to iron this out, so to speak. So I don't want to set that on there. I'll scratch that. And treat that just like a painted car service. Okay, so this isn't look at my rig type situation where I'm just saying, okay, I'm going to explain something here. Why I had to do it on 3 different ones. And this again is something you run into when you're putting these together. And they say, oh, it's going to take 6 hours to put together. You think, great. But then reality hits. I think that number is, yeah, you can glue all this together, but wiring it and, plumbing it and everything else,
Yeah.
way more.
A whole new world.
So I put in the Spectrum AR637T receiver in this. This is what I'm going to use. And this little guy has a gyro in it, and it has the AS3X, and it has the safe mode software.
Okay.
And I like to put that in something like this because, it can be a trainer. I know a lot of people have their opinions about safe. To me, I love safe. I'm not ashamed of it. I think it's an amazing insurance policy and a great training aid. I have learned to fly using it, and now I don't need it to fly, but I like to have it when I'm flying.
Sure.
In everything.
Yeah.
Because there are times where I get disoriented in the sky, sunlight gets in my eyes, wind, I just get uncomfortable in an attitude that I'm in or something, and I get it too far out and I get nervous. I flip that switch and I instantly feel a transformation in my posture of comfort that I can wipe my brow real quick and re-engage with the plane. It just gives me that. Maybe that's not cool or whatever, but for me as the way I'm developing going forward as a pilot, I like to have it in everything I own. Everything. And it also allows me to hand the control over to my kids.
Yeah.
It allows me to, my dad likes it as well. And my dad doesn't get to fly out as much, and his eyesight is really giving him some challenges now. He's in, his mid-70s. And so when he gets up there, he's only certain times of the day he can fly, and the sun starts to get overhead. I like to have that safe in there and just turn that on, and he feels really comfortable just buzzing around the sky, no questions.
Nice.
So the reason I'm telling you this is to get all this to work right and to have the smart technology that's from this ESC, it puts out telemetry. Okay, this is putting out telemetry information through your receiver. And it tells you your battery information, like the cells, the health of the cell and the battery, the heat and everything else. And you can see if you have an imbalance on one of the cells, like say you have a 4S battery, and one of the cells is in there, it's really crappy. Your transmitter, if you have a newer transmitter, even the DX9 works with a firmware upgrade now.
Nice.
It tells you have an imbalance. It'll actually say on there, imbalance battery,
Wow.
And it'll do that every 5 seconds unless you cancel the warning.
Okay.
It'll tell you if you plug in a battery before you take off, you can set a range to say, okay, if the battery's not at least, at 4, or maybe if it's not at 3.9 or something, this warning will go off and say the battery is not charged for flight, and it will just give you that warning.
Nice.
Because sometimes you go into your box and you reach for a battery, right? And then you're not paying attention. I've done this.
Yeah.
You've been the culprit of that discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Where you've walked up, talked to me, and we're sitting there, enjoying ourselves talking, and all of a sudden I go grab, the wrong thing,
Yep.
plug it in, and then next thing you know, I'm going up in the field, and 5 seconds later, I'm out of juice. This has happened. So having that little backup, I love that technology. So once I have that all hooked up, I tested it first on my big radio, because I know not everybody has an IX-20, but I do, because I have a lot of other planes that need those many channels and features.
Sure.
So I've gotten comfortable just always putting all my models on there, and I don't like carrying 20 radios with me. So I've been putting everything on this one.
Okay.
So as I was building this one, I started to program it together. And here, let's just start these up, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Turn these all on. Turn that on. I'll get me a battery. Battery.
Ooh. What kind of battery you going with?
This is it's a new battery. I have a little juice on there.
Okay.
And I think right now I'm still connected to this one over here, so we'll just plug this one first.
Okay. NX10.
There it goes. Yeah, I think it's this one. Okay. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
So I'll show you what it does on that one.
Okay.
And you got to be aware of this. Nice. Look at that. So the alarm's going off already. The battery is not charged for flying.
Wow.
Already.
That's awesome.
Because this is a smart battery, and I have it. You got to cancel it. Yes. It can get a little annoying if I got to go in and set that, how often it goes off.
Okay.
But this is a smart battery, and it discharges itself, and you can set it to discharge up to 10 days out. I have these set to 72 hours.
Okay.
So after I charge them, let's just say I use it or I don't use it, there's a little chip inside that will discharge that battery back down to its storage level. And I believe that's 3.8
Okay.
is what it'll set the battery to. So that's what it's at right now.
Okay.
But anyway, let me grab another one here.
Okay.
I got a little 2200. This one should have some juice on it.
Should.
Thought I charged this one. I'm going to be a bad girl if I don't have a battery charged. Oh shit.
Oh.
See,
Yeah. She's really talking to you now.
there's a place in there that you have to go that will actually, you set how long you want the warnings and everything to go off.
Okay.
But what I want to do is I want to use this one.
Okay.
And to do that, I need to bind it up.
Okay, remind it.
Are they able to see this, or are they just looking at my arms?
It should be able to
Okay.
see it.
So, put that there, and then I'll bind this up.
Binding. Bind complete. TSMX 22 milliseconds.
Okay.
Telemetry.
So what I'll show you the issue I was having with the iX20.
Okay.
Let it go in the pack. There's a smart screen here, right here. See how this is pulsing the voltage? Yeah,
Yes.
this battery is low too.
Okay,
It's at
yep.
40.
I see it.
So that's why it's giving you the alarm.
Yep.
It's not going to let you fly it. That should stay solid. And on these two radios over here, when you go to this smart screen, it stays solid.
Okay.
Now this is something I reported to the Horizon reps, and they went ahead and put in a bug report. And that's not to say that that is a bug, but it's being investigated why it's doing that.
Okay.
And before I had tried connecting these two radios up, right,
Yep.
it was bewildering me. I kept going, because I did all this soldering work on here, I kept thinking, well, didn't I do something wrong in the cables?
Yeah.
And so it's, again, a setback annoyance. You're sitting there going, what is this? And you get it all pretty, and then you tear it all apart.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make for good TV. You're trying to work on a schedule to film something, and this is where it is, guys. This is what takes me a long time. I'm not like somebody that just gets, free stuff sent to me and whips out a video every 3 days, saying, it's amazing, I'm actually trying really hard to make this look nice and figure stuff out. And so, again, that doesn't always make for great video, but it makes for great conversation here. So as I put these things together, my commitment to you is to be completely raw and honest about how this has been going for me.
Yeah.
I am not a professional builder. Those guys are amazing. And again, to them, and I think that's part of the problem, to be honest with you, April.
Yeah.
The people that are approving these designs and everything, they are very skilled builders and very experienced in the hobby for a lot. And from that, we get a lot of amazing designs and a lot of product option. But I think, at least with this product here, this one here, a little bit more effort needs to go into the next batch that goes in to just fine tune just these little tiny things that make it a little bit of a building barrier for some people to, they get so far and they go, and then they have a bad taste in their mouth, and then they don't want to do a balsa ARF build anymore, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
EQ says, I need an NX10 to operate the thrust vectoring on the EDF and bomb drop
NX10.
tanks. Paratroopers drop system and my DX8E died. Oh man, sorry about that.
No.
EQ, if you get a hold of me on the side, I may be able to give you a little something that might help you acquire one of those just a little tiny bit
Yeah.
cheaper than what you would have to pay normally for one. So just let me know, and I got something for you that might help you out.
She can hook you up.
Just send me a Facebook message. Guy says, as long as you're not using gyros in a compilation, that you shouldn't, because that would be cheating. I fully support the use of gyros. Most of the time you are going flying for fun. I totally agree, Guy. He's talking about like when you have these flying competitions.
Oh.
That's different. That's totally based on skill. That would be like NASCAR having autopilot and
Oh,
robots and
okay.
stuff. It would be totally cheating, and I 100% agree with that. Unless there was a bracket of competition that was for gyros, because maybe they need to carve that kind of thing out with rules too. I don't know. I speak from no point of, I have no knowledge on any of that. So, But I would agree, I would not want to be in a flying competition with somebody that was using some kind of mechanism that improved, you know, it would be like a swimmer on steroids, you know, just not fair. So
Sure.
I agree with that.
That makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
these are the kind of things that I run into. If I can throw one of these batteries on while we're talking,
Yeah.
I'm going to do that if it's not too loud. And that way later we can show it off. But you know how it can get with these things.
Yeah.
Let me know if it's too loud, April. I'm going to put this on the smart charger here.
Well, I'll have to put my headphones on and actually listen, because I won't be able to tell sitting here.
What? Yeah, this one's down to 14%. Yep. So we might get that later.
Okay.
Anyway, as far as it doesn't give you any straps to hold your battery in, so I ordered these straps here off the internet, off of Amazon. They're really nice.
Okay.
Let me show you these. I like nice straps in there because the last thing I want to be doing is on a broiling 90-degree day sitting there screwing around, sitting in a field full of bees, ants crawling up my legs. You know, I'm getting
Yeah.
sunburned because I'm screwing around with a battery strap. So these are really nice. Very cool. Very cool. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
I'll put a link to this stuff later. Like right now in our live videos, I don't have the description, the links all worked out. And if you're watching this later on, I will have timestamp links in there so you can jump right to different points in the video. But
Perfect.
yeah, I'll put a link to these straps in there. And they come in different colors and different sizes. These are the 250 millimeter long
Okay.
straps that are black.
Nice.
I really like them. So can't wait to get those inside the plane. They'll look really sexy.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
gonna look sharp in there.
But what the radio that I'm going to use with this is going to be the NX10.
Next 10.
But I could use the DX9 as well. The only difference really being in flying this model is that this one's going to be in color.
Okay.
This one also updates itself through Wi-Fi. This one you have to use a SIM card. Download everything to the SD card, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then update the firmware from the SD card.
Okay.
But when you feel these two, pick these two up once, April. I'll hold the camera for you.
Sure.
Got it.
You got it?
Yeah, just pick those up and tell me what you think. Like immediately, what does that feel like to you from a professional automation type person's perspective? As soon as you touch those,
Yeah.
what are you thinking?
Got a good feel. This one, you can the NX10 definitely is a little bit bigger. The screen's got a little more on it. No, I like it. I think I like the NX10 actually. That's a really nice.
Yeah,
nice transmitter.
it's very affordable.
Yeah,
There you go.
I like it.
Now, my personal feeling is, I still like my DX9, not better, but just I like the way it feels in my hands. It just,
Okay.
I don't know, just a little bit different. This one here, just a tiny bit lighter,
Yeah.
but
They're nice.
this one here is really nice. I
Yeah.
won't lie. The NX series of radios is the way to go.
Fantastic.
All right, so I got some repairs to do. I got some paint to find. I also went up to the hardware store and bought my own lock nuts. I didn't like the hardware that came with this model as far as mounting screws,
Yeah.
because you have to drill these in, put these on the backside, and these are Phillips head all thread bolts, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought I would do all thread itself,
Yeah.
and instead of that, and I bought a piece of all thread
Oh, okay.
to do it. You know, it's 5mm all thread is what it is, and any hardware store has this.
Okay.
And then you can just, either I was going to heat this up on the end and forge a mushroom on the end,
Oh, okay.
but I've tried that before with this type of material and it kind of just, it doesn't work out. It's not as strong.
Oh, okay.
You really need to have something like, you know, a machine to forge it, and then you heal, you know,
Yeah.
fire it and all that stuff, and
Okay.
anneal it and everything else. So I had to settle for the screw, but I was looking for a cap head screw on the end, but the
Okay.
Phillips was what I had to do. And with these lock nuts, I didn't have to use any lock washers, and they don't even give you any lock washers in the kit.
What?
They just give you just regular old screws, Here, they give you these. Here they are. That right there is
Okay.
the screw. It's not a lock screw. They give you those and these washers, and that's it. And I'm like, that's no good. I'm not going to Loctite these in place. I can't adjust that, as easy. So I went out and bought, $3 worth of lock nuts, and now I can adjust all this stuff, and I'm confident, and it feels really solid.
Awesome.
Really good. Really good.
Yeah.
So at first, when you first get it, you're like, oh man, these screws are kind of, yeah. But it really worked out.
Fantastic.
All right, on to the rear end.
Extreme close up.
Yeah. All right, so these are just sitting on there. I'm going to pull these back off.
Okay.
Okay, they do have CA hinges. What's cool about this, right? You know how when you've done these planes before, sometimes you have to do both sides.
Yeah.
They've already pre-glued these in there.
Oh,
They're
perfect.
already set perfect.
Nice.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Perfectly ready to go.
Yeah.
I got some more stuff to do with that, but
Okay.
so getting the horizontal and vertical stabilizer on, I just did that last night. And let me tell you, this was a learning experience on this one. Remember how I was telling you that this is a painted vinyl covering? It's
Yeah.
not Monocoat. All right, and you can't get any glue on it.
Oh,
You know, and you can't use any thinner to clean off any glue anywhere. It is painstaking
Yeah.
to get this figured out. The directions say to use CA glue, right? I'm thinking, CA glue? Well, if you've ever done one of these, you know that when you get the stabilizers, you got to trim off the inside part of the covering with a hobby knife,
Right.
And then you got to get that all just right. And then you shove this in the hole, and then you do your epoxy, and then you clean everything off, and you've had your tape on there, you pull your tape all off, right?
Yeah.
Not with this one.
Oh.
The only way I could get this, and I still got, and this was just a little, like, splatter. It wasn't even a splatter. It was just like just a sneeze drop of the CA glue. Just, it was a raindrop.
Oh no.
Micro head. It was the size of a pin's head. That was it.
Oh no.
And all I did was dab it with a paper towel to get it back up,
Okay.
and then it left a slight little nothing, right? So then I
Yeah.
took some Windex cleaner, because you can clean it with Windex,
Okay.
and I just kind of rubbed it out, and what I did is I actually shined it.
Oh no.
So I'm going to just hit that with some little airbrush spray paint to get that
Okay.
shine spot out. There
Yeah,
it is.
you can
People
see it.
can see it right there.
Yep.
But it's not a huge thing. Yet another RC channel is here. Good
All right.
morning.
What do we got?
Okay, so Guy, he wants to know what the difference between the DX, IX, and NX series line of radios are. That is a very in-depth question.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of differences come in the various series of these, and we'll maybe do a video on that some other time. But I will just say in summary, DX 9 that I have, that's about 5 years old, and the NX series is the latest kind of replacement for the DX series.
Okay.
The IX series, they're more of your computer-based radio. They're going to they're controlled by Android screens. So, like, I have also the IX12. So here's the IX12. Just to kind of give you size comparison.
Okay.
So there you go.
Come up here. I mean.
I don't use this radio anymore. Actually, I'm going to clean it up and put it up for sale because I don't need it. I have this now.
Okay.
And I liked having the bigger screen. Of course, this one costs, at the time when I purchased it, it was around $1,600, $1,599 I think it was.
Okay.
They have a $2,000 version too that has aluminum gimbals and it's
wow.
totally pimped out.
Nice.
But this one does everything the same. It just, that one has more jewelry. This here radio does everything, it's 12 channels.
Okay.
And the screen is a little smaller. But these are computer-based with the Android system in it. You can get online, right on this thing, download updates. Heck, this one even has a backwards-facing camera. You can take a picture of your models. The camera's right there.
Oh wow.
It's hard to see it, but there is a camera in there.
Yep.
There it is.
There it is.
That's the camera.
Nice.
All that kind of good stuff. You can surf the web on them if you've got Wi-Fi,
Nice.
which I just tether it to my phone when I'm at the field and I get an updated profile or download a picture or whatever.
Perfect.
Fine, works.
Yeah.
And the IX20 is really amazingly fast. So I don't want to turn this into a commercial for Spectrum radios, but you know, I'm just saying that I have a few.
One or two.
I have a few. All right, let me put these back up out of the way.
Okay. We'll take a look at some of the work here that you've been doing. Yeah.
Yep.
I like the feel, you know, the vinyl.
It does feel like more scale, but I will say, if I had to choose between, I would rather have something that I can clean things off with a mineral spirit, or not mineral spirits, isopropyl alcohol,
Okay.
or a thinner or something when I get a little bit of, you know, glue or something on,
Gotcha.
and not have to deal with these kind of little things.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
this is only my first one
Sure.
doing this like this. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of slack and the model a little slack. And we're going to try another NEXA model, of course. And I'll know next time that these things need to be, you know, these are a different challenge. I won't lie. They're a different challenge. And this is, you know, my first one. So,
Yeah.
so back to getting this tail glued on, right?
Yes. Yep.
The way I did it was, you know, you have to cut your holes in the fuselage. You have to cut the covering out
Right.
here and on the sides. This slips in the side, and then what you got to do is line this up with the wing pipe up here. What I do is I measure the distance to make sure that it's actually straight and
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
This model actually is keyed. When you put in the vertical stabilizer, it keys in with this, and it pretty much lines it up pretty good. There's a little bit of play to adjust it one way or another, but I mean, we're just talking a 1/16.
Okay.
That's it, maybe
Nice.
even less.
Right.
Just enough to straighten her up. They did a really good job on lining that up. Where's that tool? And I was worried that maybe I was going to have to adjust the side. You're going to want to get the back side of this. Okay. So you can see it's nice and straight on both sides. On both sides.
Nice.
And then let me show you the other side. This was right out of the box. I had no adjustment to do on this at all.
Wow.
Whoops. There we go.
I'm just kind of giving the pan up and down here.
It's a little out of focus that close. There you go.
Nice. That's good.
So that was right out of the box, April. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Normally I have to sit there and sand the slots a little bit to get those nice and straight.
Yeah.
But this one was perfect.
Awesome.
EQ wants to know, Pork Chop, did you see
Yes.
my email address? I don't do Facebook. I'm in South Carolina, so shipping should not be too much. Are you sending something?
No.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, EQ. Could you elaborate a little bit? We're not sure what you're talking about. Guy says it's good practice to check them anyway and make sure that they are all going and securely CA glued in. Yeah, I agree. He's talking about the alignment here.
Oh, okay.
Or these things here to make sure that if these are pre-glued, that you want to double check that.
Good
But
idea.
you can see, I don't know if the camera picks this up, but right here on the edge, you can see the hard CA from where it was glued in, and then this part's still flexible to do the other side.
Okay.
So I'm not sure any more CA glue can be absorbed in there. What I like to do, like you can see on the back side here where these are going to go in, I like to run a small little drill bit in there a couple places and widen that hole a little bit so more glue goes in there as
okay.
I put it on.
Yeah.
You won't see it. I'll touch this all up with paint. I did have to slot this one myself. This one here, it needed widen, but wasn't a big deal.
Okay.
No big deal. So today what I'm going to do, after the show,
Sure.
is I'm going to glue these on. I can get the landing gear on next.
Oh yeah.
And I've already started working on the wings. I glued the dowel rods in here. And you have to set them at a certain height. These are really long dowel rods, so I just glued them in with enough coming out that I'll just sand them to the right size and get them lined up and so forth.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that shouldn't be too big a deal. And they're a little snug. I might ream out the hole a little bit.
Okay.
I know the aluminum tube's not in there right now, but a little bit on this model, I'm a little, I can't get it all the way in. Let's just say there will be a gap on this.
Okay.
There's a couple reasons for this. One, let me pull the thing out here, is because the glass, the windshield when they glued it on,
Yeah.
it sticks out a little bit. So I might try to see if I can address that a little bit by, trimming this up a little bit on the edge and get that to go in a little, or see if there's any way I can. I'll practice on another piece and see if I can, warp that a little bit with my heat gun or something, if it doesn't distort it.
Okay.
Something. The other reason is that the wing itself doesn't sit flush to this, because I think they sanded it or something, but there's a little bit of this going on, just a tiny bit on each side.
Oh.
It starts here and then it flexes out this way a little bit.
Okay.
So, is that a deal breaker? I don't think it is. I know what I bought this thing for. I bought it to fly. It's
Yeah.
not going to sit there and go to shows and all this other stuff. It's for me to learn and fly on and have a good time with my dad and my kids, and it's just going to look cool in the sky. So if there's a tiny little gap in there, I'm not too worried about it.
Okay.
But I would like the manufacturers to, on their next version of it, to know that, hey, maybe we need to look at our building process and line these wings up a little bit more to get rid of that gap.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would suggest for them to do is this wing doesn't have screws that screw on in here, because there's only one way to get in there, and it's through this little hole right here.
Okay.
So trying to screw screws on are not going to be too easy.
Yeah.
So the way you attach these wings is there's actually a screw that you got to drill down through a hole here in a certain spot. I think it's like right there, because I can see the notch. You screw down through, and then there's a screw that goes through the post.
Oh. Okay.
And all that does is it keeps the wing from coming back out this way. It's not any kind of support system or anything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't like that, because you're going to see the screw in the top of the wing.
Yeah.
And I may just, try to put a little paint on it or a piece of covering over it or something. But
Yeah.
I think they could, rethink that a little bit and do that a little better.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, pork chops.
Yes.
We've done it again.
We did it.
That's all the farther I'm at this time. So I don't want to take up a lot of your time. We're already at noon. Guess what?
Are we really?
So yeah, we'll take up a few little questions, or anybody want to ask us about anything else other than this. We'll hang around here for a few more minutes. And we really appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yes.
And Pork Chops did an amazing job getting this set up. I think the sound in the video is looking better each time. Give everybody a look at all this hard work you've done here. It's a mess in here,
Well,
but
yeah, it's a mess.
it's a mess. But I mean, this
But
is a lot of work, Pork Chops.
Yeah, well,
This is a lot of work, and you've came over and put in OT on this to get it better, so it's appreciated.
well, after our unfortunate struggles last week, we need to make a kind of a bounce back here a little bit. So,
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yep.
We
One step at a time. I mean,
one show at a time.
Yeah. We're not experts, but we're getting there.
All right, you guys are really been amazing. Looks like everybody here is kind of just sitting back and quiet. Again, this has been the NEXA L4A, actually, is the model.
Okay.
L4A version of this.
Gotcha.
Grasshopper, it's a cub. And next week, God willing, if we have some good weather outside, because right now it's a blizzard outside.
Yeah.
It actually is a blizzard here in Ohio right now.
So,
If I can get this all together, either our next show will be the final completion and the afterthoughts of that. But if I can get it together sometime during the week, which I don't know if I can, but if I can, and then we get some good weather, I'll go out and we'll get some maiden video and we'll play that back for you as well.
Yep.
So,
Perfect.
why don't you want me to take the cam so you can switch back over?
If you wish.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to walk around you here.
Get the pork chop.
Around you. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're going to follow me?
I am going to follow you.
All right.
Now I'm zooming in. There she is, everybody.
There I am.
And there she
All right.
goes.
Oh, no. All right. And there we go.
Okay, this is really cool. I really like the pork chop cam.
It's a handy cam for sure. You know, allows us to get in and around where we need to go.
Guy says we're doing good work and that we're looking good.
That's fantastic.
Thank you guys. Again, if you leave us some comments of things that you think that we can improve upon, like either whether it's building or our video, we kind of consider these first maybe 10 episodes all beta tests of whether this works out, you know, what we can improve, how, you know, and we'll move forward. We're really just trying to get our craft down of how to record these things and how to look good on camera and all those kind of things. But also, we want to do justice to, you know, hobbyists and show things for what they really are. I can't always do unboxings because that's just not financially feasible. But I think that people would really appreciate knowing, you know, there is a process to this, you know, isn't there?
Yes, big
And
process.
I think it's really cool that we sit there and we talk about this. And that's why we call it Hobby Chat. So you can kind of just be in our room with us, flies on the wall, and, you know, seeing what we're doing, and maybe it helps you out. And
Yeah.
maybe you help us out.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
All right?
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, everybody, please like and subscribe to our channel. And if you ring the bell on our channel, if you're watching this from like Facebook or something, go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel, like this video, and ring the bell, and you'll get notified when we go live. And we're going to try to do them on Sunday at 11. But if we don't, we have a couple videos we've already put in the can and made, and we'll run those instead on our channel if for some reason we can't get here live on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you. April,
Yes.
take us out.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And I guess we will catch you again live next Sunday at 11.
That's right.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.